All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on. Okay. I think we are live. We're all good. All right. So, for those of you in here who are watching on YouTube or Twitter, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already on our YouTube channel. It's the best way to interact with the chat, join the conversation, everything that is going on right now. But for those of you who are not aware of how things go on around here, we are going to play the intro here. Mets talk throughout. We're just going to go live here for about an hour or so. My co-hosts will be here in a second. Actually, one of them is here right now. I'll put him on the screen. All right.
I've arrived.
Hold on. I gotta reorganize this. But other than that, welcome guys to the stream. We were unable to do a podcast this week, so I figured that we would just go on here, discuss some Mets news and everything. But other than that, let's just get it going. All right. Making sure everything settles down here. I'm just hold on. I think he'll be back. Hold on. Okay. Okay, so for those of you in here who have not hit the like button already, make sure to do that. Make sure to subscribe as well. Really helps the channel out. Just going to update this. Okay, I think we're good.
Right.
I don't know if you can hear me, but
I hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay.
All right, then we're good. We got what we need.
All right. Okay, so latest Mets news, obviously, for those of you who have not been keeping track of it, the Mets did get a second meeting with Yoshinobu Yamamoto today. Yesterday, they also they had dinner. They were accompanied by the manager, the pitching coach, everyone that's going on, everyone associated with the Mets organization at the big Cohen house, of course. And what we're looking at right now is the Mets have I don't know why. Okay, hold on. Now we're okay. Hold on. Is that good? We're good? All right.
There we
Perfect.
go. We got boxes.
All right. So basically what's going on right now is the Mets have yet to make an offer, and it doesn't seem like anybody else has made an offer yet. We're just not in that full point of his free agency right now. I don't know when that is going to be. We've also had some talks about Justin Turner. We'll get into that in a second. Lucas Giolito as well has been rumored as well around the Mets. So we'll start with Yamamoto, of course. Andrew, I'll go to you first. What do you think about this so far? Your confidence in the Mets possibly landing Yoshinobu Yamamoto at this point? What do you think?
Again, just kind of like every free agent drama. I'm just ready to be over with. I'm tired of hearing, oh, they went to dinner. Oh, they went to a nightclub together. Like, I think we're getting to the last little bit of it. The Yankees got a second meeting. We got a second meeting. We'll see if the Dodgers or anybody else gets that second meeting or not. But, again, they're going to have the biggest offer. I think that's pretty well clear. They'll probably put the most money on the table. We'll see if that matters. If he's one of those guys that maybe legacy means more. Let's say it's 350 from the Mets. So just throw a number out there, and it's 340 with the Yankees or the Dodgers. I could see him doing that, and then we're all going to be very happy. And I could imagine what Mets Twitter would look like. But again, I'm keeping the expectations low at this point. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm not going to be surprised because everybody and their mother and all these sources everyone has is everybody. It's the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Giants, the Red Sox. So at this point, until I get that passing notification, and that's the only guy that damn near matters, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to let this play out however it goes. If there's a third dinner, let it have a third dinner. If not, I'm just kind of done with this because I want to see if they don't get him, what the plan is, and if they do get him, what happens now.
Yeah, Frank, I mean, what have you seen so far? Because this one's been a long road.
Yeah, I mean, it's been something that is talked about every day, all day. I mean, how many teams are interested? Like we've been talking about, Big Domino. I mean, he's the guy that really is. The Mets are kind of dedicating their offseason and building it around him. So based off the decision he makes is going to kind of make sure, where the Mets are going next. So for me, the fact that the Mets got the second meeting in, now the Yankees got the second meeting in, you feel like it's probably going to come down to what Yamamoto ultimately decides, unless the Mets absolutely blow the Yankees offer out of the water money-wise or years-wise. And then you know what? The fact that the Dodgers are involved, that has to scare you after what they just did, pulling off Shohei Ohtani, especially with that very, backloaded and all these deferring and all these other things to where, he still isn't actually getting the $70 million this year. So they can still get a Yamamoto as well if they want to. And you could tell just how serious the Dodgers are taking this particular offseason along with the trade and extension of Tyler Glasnow. So, the Dodgers, they've just been going, big move after big move. So the fact that those are two teams the Mets are fighting, that doesn't make it easy. So, you're going to be going against the other high bidders. And the thing that, always, I wouldn't really say scares me, but the one thing I'm most curious about is I understand the money is going to be pretty significant because of the amount of bidders that are involved and who the bidders are, but really the years. And that's something you always got to, really keep an eye on when it comes to pitchers because they can aid once you get past 30. Things could go downhill very quickly. So the fact that he's young, are the Mets going to do 12 years for a pitcher, 10 years for a pitcher? Does he get early opt-outs? Does he get early player opt-outs after like year 3, year 4? Those are the things that I'm more concerned about in order to win this Yamamoto bidding war sweepstakes, do you have to put together a big-time year deal with no team opt-outs, with all these other player-specific indicators so that you feel like the Mets have this offer that Yamamoto can't refuse because they give him so much power. They give him so many, different opportunities. So that's what I'm really curious to see. If they wanted that badly, are they going to have to do something like that to really seal the deal?
Yeah, I think at this point, I mean, it's gotten so past the point of what we expected at the beginning where, we were seeing this guy, hovering around 200 million to 220 million to 230 million. And now like there is a possibility where it goes past 300 million for someone who hasn't even thrown a pitch in the major leagues yet, which is so crazy to think about, but he's so young and he has such a long career ahead of him. And he seems to just have so many elements to him that looks like he's going to age so well. And that's the reason why you have so many guys bidding for him and so many teams bidding for him right now. And it doesn't seem like there's not many that are backing down. They all really are just kind of waiting out to see what his decision is going to be. And there's a strong possibility where maybe, the Mets don't get him. And we've seen that maybe the Mets don't pivot to another frontline starter, which I think is really kind of freaked out Mets fans a little bit. And, we've seen some things about maybe some possible back end arms like Lucas Giolito. Those are some guys they've been attached to. Shota Imanaga is also another Japanese pitcher who is really good. But he's not Yoshi Yamamoto. And there's a possibility where the Mets just kind of just stay with the in-house depth, which is not fantastic. And I'm just hoping that there is a pivot as to where they go after this, because I don't know if this is going to decide the entire offseason, but there's a possibility where maybe the Mets just kind of coast here if they don't get Yoshi Yamamoto. And I don't know how that's going to sit well with the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. And that's something that I talked about in a previous episode is, get the guy you want and don't settle for something else. I mean, you wonder if you don't get Yamamoto, do you overpay a Blake Snell? Do you pivot to someone who you really weren't having negotiations with, you weren't really focusing on, but now you feel like after how much you've invested and planned around Yamamoto, saying that you want to address pitching, to just ignore the rotation completely afterwards, that's a little dicey. And, Tyler Glass now, that's not a pivot, since the Dodgers already scooped him up.
Yeah.
So we haven't really heard any other, Corbin Burns. We haven't heard Shane Bieber. We haven't heard these other trades coming out there. Maybe look at a guy like Dylan Cease. At least he's got some strikeout stuff. I mean, again, it's like you said, who else are we looking at? I mean, you don't have – it's like, oh, if you're Yamamoto, at least you have a bunch of other top young pitchers available. That's not the case. So, it really depends from offseason to offseason if you have those alternate options available, which they don't.
Yeah, this is another. I mean, this is the thing. It's like there is a strong possibility where the Mets just don't really trade anyone, and it doesn't look like they're willing to give up anything at all internally to move, like, just improve this major league roster. And I understand wanting to keep all the surplus here, but there is still a logjam with some of these prospects that they have acquired and some of these prospects that they have at the top of the system right now. And, you don't know if they do have a future with this team. They haven't proven anything at the major league level. And, I would use a few of those pieces to get someone who is young, someone who has a long future ahead of them as a pitcher, and maybe, extend them long-term, such as Corbin Burns. Dylan Cease is another possibility. Tyler Glasnow's off the table now. So I don't know what the hell the Mets are going to be doing after Yoshi Yamamoto. I'm a little bit nervous to see what they do pivot to. And listen, is there a possibility where you're going to be very underwhelmed this offseason if they don't get Yamamoto? Possibly. But again, I just think that if there is just one fish that they're going after, it is Yamamoto. He's probably going to be the big signing. And, it's a big need for the Mets. And we'll see how far they're willing to go. But, the Mets obviously only have the only advantage is just money. The Yankees have seen that they have the history. The Dodgers have the frontline talent in Betts, Freeman, and now Ohtani. The Mets have money. So the only way the Mets can do this is that they blow the other offers out of the water. And we'll see what they do here. I'm willing to go 10 years. I'm willing to go 11 years if that's what it takes. You obviously have to have some options in there and some stipulations or whatever. But the Mets really, at this point, Yoshi Yamamoto is the only guy that they seem to have all their eggs in one basket with this one. And I'm kind of curious to see what the Mets do from there. And I kind of want to see the reality where they get him and they continue and look to see who can they bring in to compete. It just doesn't look like there's options that the Mets are attached to at all that seem like, that DeGrom pivot from last year. When they lost DeGrom, they pivoted to Verlander. When they lost Bassett, they pivoted to Senga. When they lost Taijuan Walker, they pivoted to Jose Quintana. So there just doesn't seem to be a pivot past Yamamoto right now. And I don't know if there's just other that they're looking at, but they need another frontline guy if they want to put a competitive team out here. So I don't know. Andrew, anything that you want to add here?
I mean, yeah, again, we're living in a world where we even talked about it. This is the whole offseason. And this will determine, again, like we've said, I think they're honestly just rebuilding this year. I think they've been lying to everybody because every move they've made, a rebuilding team does. A bunch of one-year deals or vets that, hey, if they have a good year, dump them off the deadline. The Royals have done it. Yes, technically they have longer term to their deals, but they're Scott Boras one-year deals. They're all player options that they can get out after this year, have a good year, so it puts the pressure on the team to, if they're, which the Royals will not be,
it's true,
can still trade them at the trade deadline. So, again, it's 25 years old. Again, these guys don't come on the market, and that's why you've had it. We say this, and then Roki Saki will be here next year or the year after. So you'll have another one of these generational 25-year-olds coming back on the market. But, yeah, there is no pivot. I mean, again, I don't want Montgomery if Yamamoto's not here because, like I said in my video, you should go check out, he was the third to eat some innings because you're going to that six-man rotation if Yamamoto was here. If Yamamoto's not here, as much as I like Monty, I'm not going in to be my number 2. I love Monty as my number 3. I don't want him as my number 2. But, and the trade options, they're going to hoard these noodles. And when they realize that they're not that good, they'll bite us in the ass down the line. But yeah, there is no just, all right, don't go out and get Blake Snell, who's more inconsistent than anybody. And he wants to be on the West Coast. He doesn't want to be here. He's probably going to go to Seattle, if you're asking me. But again, I guess I do like that they're not just going to piss the money away. But it's just interesting to see is it the Giolito on a big, heavy 1-year deal for like $25 million, like a Giolito? I don't know what they would do. But let's say a couple of those, it just depends. Or hell, Mike Vassal's your number 3 starter at this point, or 4 starter at this point, coming out opening day if all stings stayed the same.
Listen, I'm just kind of cautious as to, what the Mets are actually going to do with the pitching staff when there is just no Yamamoto available. And I'm going to tell you right now, like when I look at these other options on the frontline market, I'm not shelling out 6 years to Blake Snell. I'm not shelling out 6 years to Jordan Montgomery. Like I'm not giving 6 years to someone who's past 30. I'm not giving 6 years to someone who is a 3 at best. Like I'm like 6+ years goes to frontline arms. 6 years plus goes to aces, and Jordan Montgomery ain't that. Blake Snell might be it, but like I'm still just not shelling out that many years to anybody else on this market besides Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And the thing is that I just don't know if they're going to go after anybody else besides this guy. And it is a scary thought because the Mets have just never really had a small rebuild year where they just say that they're not going to look to compete and they're just going to see what they got here. But, as options continue to dwindle down, I mean, we already saw is there somebody out of the market that went?
Just E-Rod. That's about it.
Yeah. There was somebody else.
Unless you count Aaron Nola. But
Aaron Nola.
Yeah.
Nola's gone. I don't know. There's somebody else. But
Sonny Gray, he went to the Cardinals.
Yeah, Gray. A couple of batting practice.
Gray went to the Cardinals.
Okay.
Is this true? Is this true? Did they give him a 12-year offer?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Would that be the longest a pitcher has ever gotten?
Yeah, tops Cole's do. Cole's thing is 10
so
and
Cole
3.
is 9 years. Yeah.
9 years. Yeah.
And then the Mets would. I don't know if that's true. It doesn't seem like they made any offers. No offers were made yet. I don't think it's
I'm sure people have placed down offers, but no one's really going to reveal the true numbers until it's all said and done.
Okay, might go hit or heavy if they don't get Yamamoto. I mean, I hope that they do. Like, I need to see them do something, approach something with quantity and quantity and quality. Whether it is going and improving this pitching staff or bringing in a couple of bats to protect Alonso, because again, this is your last year with Alonso. Possibly, this could be it. So
it would be nice to see some new faces in the lineup. I mean, we've seen, we've seen the same position players, same core for year after year. It would be nice to see some younger bats, some more power bats, just to see if the results change. Because it's like we talked about, you can't just keep rolling out the same guys, same play style over and over, expecting something new.
Yeah, I just don't really know what direction they're actually going to go in with the offense, because it just doesn't seem like that's really been a focal point at all. I mean, we're going into the middle of December right now. We don't know what bats they are attached to. We have seen them sign Joey Wendell, and that's about it. That's really all we have seen so far on the offensive side.
And you're not really offensive upgrade or starter.
It wasn't. I mean, that's a bench bat at best. I mean, it's a 1-year deal. I'm not going to completely hate on it at all, but there is some additions that the Mets do need to make to this lineup. We know that they're going to add at least one outfielder. I hope they add 2, but we know that they're going to add at least one outfielder. And listen, I think that they might be a little bit more hesitant, obviously, just with the Marte money on the books this year and also next year. And that's probably the main reason why we're just not really seeing them attached to that many frontline outfield pieces. We've seen them attached to Teoscar Hernandez a few times. We've seen them attached to Jorge Soler through some rumors, but nothing crazy. And that's probably the main reason why, is because the Mets are just kind of tied to this Marte money, and I mean, who's going to take that? Like, who's going to take that money at all? And they found a partner for James McCann, but this is more money that you're looking at. Like, it's not 10 million a year; it's almost 20 million a year that you're looking at. And maybe there's a possibility where the Mets just don't, they just don't mind the right field position being slotted in with Starling Marte, and they just see what they can get there. And maybe they're just going in that kind of direction. But we did have one report about one bat this week come out, and that is our old friend Justin Turner, who the Mets apparently have had a few discussions with recently at a possible reunion. And there's a reason for that, of why that's become a little bit more prominent in the last few days. And that is because one of the Mets top prospects, Ronnie Mauricio, tore his ACL, and he's going to be out for a significant amount of time. There's a strong possibility we don't see him at all this season in the majors. And there has been reports that the Mets could go after another third base option, another infield option, to possibly replace something that you can get from Ronnie Mauricio. And we all know that it wasn't going to be a starting caliber piece. The Mets weren't going to just panic move and sign Matt Chapman. But the only option you have now is Mets top prospect Brett Baty, who did not perform well in his full rookie year. He's been here technically 2 seasons, but we got a full sample of it in 2023 and did not impress at all. Right now he is slotted in to be the Mets starting third baseman if they don't go after Turner. Now, Frank, I know that you kind of had a personal preference as to not go after Justin Turner, because there's tons of reasons as to why. I get it, but Ronnie Mauricio going down, he is now subtracted out of the equation. Does that move you a little bit closer to possibly bringing in Justin Turner? As
it does. I mean, I'm definitely a little more on board than I was before. I mean, I thought that for me, I think that anytime you're signing a player who's 39 or above, you're taking a risk. I think you're taking a risk for multiple reasons. Number one, you're taking a risk if the player's even going to stay healthy. When you get to that age, it's tough to stay on the field, to be a starter in the field, not just a DH, a starter in the field day in, day out. You're taking a big chance of injury. The other thing that you're taking the big chance of is, when does the drastic decline really happen? I mean, we all have, that saying, the fall off the cliff moment for older players. When does that happen for Justin Turner? Because you can't do this forever. I mean, there is a year where you have a bad year and say, that's it. I'm on the decline. I barely got anything left in me. And when you take a guy that's 39 years old, that could happen at any moment. It could be this year. It could be next year. But he's only got a couple of years left in him. So if I was going to take a risk and start a rookie, so to speak, a very young player in a Ronnie Mauricio, I like that risk more than the risk of a Justin Turner. I like the upside of the young player who his best years are ahead of him compared to the guy whose best years are behind him. But with Mauricio now totally out of the equation, I can't trust Brett Baty. I mean, like we've said, we've given him a good amount of time, 2 years now. Obviously not 2 full years, but the call up, the send down. Haven't seen anything big. Haven't seen anything big in spring training. So for me, when it comes to Justin Turner, at least it's another option. At least you're not banking on only having Brett Baty, because it's something that we talked about, of getting a veteran who could maybe push the young players just to give a little bit of competition, so that nothing is guaranteed. They're playing for something too. Maybe they could surprise you. And Carson, you've talked about Gio Urshela in the past, and obviously Justin Turner is the better player than Gio Urshela. Urshela has definitely had his injury history as well, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, again, you'd like to aim younger. For me, Justin Turner, 39 years old, it has to be a 1-year deal. If it's not if it's a 2-year deal, you're taking double the amount of risk, because if his fall off is this year, then you have 2 bad years of Justin Turner. So for me, and the other thing too is that, is he your third baseman, or is he your DH, or is he both? That's the other thing that I'm very curious about because, he spent plenty of time DHing with the Red Sox. With this team, they need a starting third baseman. We don't have Rafael Devers at third base. So, again, more wear and tear, more mileage. So those are the things that all worry me. And again, the whole conspiracy, former Met, that scares you too, especially this guy, because like I said, you always call it the Justin Turner curse, the Justin Turner effect. Guy who wasn't good leaves the organization, becomes great. He was the first big guy that happened, and then it happened a whole bunch afterwards. So for me, the conspiracy, that's always a scary thing too. But right now, it's like, what's the Mets' other choice? If you're going to compete, if you're going to give 12 years to Yamamoto, you're looking to win. And you can't bet on Brett. You can't bet on Brett Beatty. So for me, if it's a 1-year deal, fine, because like we say, no bad 1-year deals. And kind of like the starting pitching market, not a lot of other great options. It's no matter what, you're taking a chance on a guy who's very old, because are you looking at Evan Longoria? Are you looking at a guy like Eduardo Escobar? I mean, all the other third base guys that are out there, they're also pretty high up there age-wise. So no matter what, you're going to be signing somebody that's very old. So that's the thing that's really concerning. Josh Donaldson too. Like, all the guys who are third base were all 38 or above. So you might as well take the guy who's the best of the bunch if you're going to get one of these older third basemen.
I think, if they were to bring in Justin Turner, I think that I wouldn't be really concerned at all with the performance. I think that he would contribute probably anything better than what you've gotten from third base ever since right left at all. Like, you'll get something similar to maybe like what JD Davis did at his best. The only thing that I would be concerned of is is this guy actually going to stay on the field? And I think that's my biggest problem with Justin Turner. Like, are we actually going to get a full sample of where we need him in this lineup if Beatty isn't performing? I don't know if you're going to get that. And there's a possibility where you kind of just split the time between DH and third base. He did not play much third base last year. So, I mean, I don't know what direction they're going in here, but if they want to see him DH a little bit, if there's a possibility where they kind of want to see him at like first base and maybe DH Pete, but that kind of blocks out Vientos. Vientos, I guess, can play third base, but again, we just don't want to see him play that. Again, and this is kind of like this I would say that, like, I don't know if this makes much of like a debate here, because like anybody's really an upgrade over Daniel Vogelbach, but I think that Turner can definitely provide a little bit more value in the power department than you get from Daniel Vogelbach, who looks like he should be giving you power, but he isn't. What happened now? What's going on? Somebody wouldn't believe what? Huh? You told me your source from Milwaukee told me Yamamoto canceled his second meeting with the Yankees today. No reason. He canceled his meeting with the Yankees. I don't think he canceled his meeting with the Yankees. It looked like it was there. I mean, somebody tweeted out. I don't know if it was Martino or something.
Yeah, Martino and John Heyman. Again, neither guys are amazing, but they both report that the second meeting happened with the Yankees. So, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what source you're getting that from, but whatever. I mean, I'm seeing tons of like unverified accounts talking about how the Mets made an offer, and the Red Sox and the Giants were also making offers that were pretty steep and everything. I mean, I'm kind of just listening to the more trusted sources here, but if that is true, it is true. And listen, if it's a source in your head, then, listen to it, follow your heart. I don't know what to say. Also need Teoscar Hernandez too. Teoscar's a possibility. And again, I think that the Mets are going to be linked to him for a while. We saw Gurriel go off the board today. Yeah. Go back to Arizona. I was not really interested in that whatsoever, so it doesn't really matter to me. But I can just tell you right now, the Mets need to install something. And listen, we've talked about Michael A. Taylor as a possibility. We know that they're linked to Harrison Bader. But like, obviously they need to get a little bit more of a frontline piece that can actually contribute to this lineup. Like, listen, I'm all for kind of bringing up the depth of someone who has some extra power off the bench. But again, Michael A. Taylor is a fourth outfielder. So that's how I look at it, even though he was a starter and maybe he does want starter money. But the only way that I would bring in Michael Taylor is if he's actually a fourth outfielder or can start in a pinch if you have some concerns with Starling Marte. I forgot Turner can't run. I mean, I don't think Beatty can run either, but it's
no 39-year-old should be fleet of foot.
Yeah. Let's hope
he never was a good runner though. That's the thing. He's always been slow.
I don't.
Yeah, and he played in doubles alley, Fenway Park. I mean, one of the most friendly doubles parks there is, with that monster and those gaps.
That is also true. I mean, we're looking at like a 261, 333, 414 slash line that you're looking at right now, like how he's projected right now. I don't know if that changes or anything. Like we still have some other projection systems that need to come out, but it's solid comparing it to any of the other production that you've gotten from third base, especially from Brett Beatty. But, I think that the Mets are going to try to roll and give Beatty a lot of playing time, which I'm not happy with, but he is a prospect. He's going to continue to get that chance unless they trade him surprisingly in the next week or so. He's going to be on the team and he's going to get a reasonably good amount of reps at third base for the Mets. My understanding is Yamamoto wasn't at the meeting. Yamamoto was not at his own meeting. What? Did he just dip out? He just said, "Nah, fuck this." Andrew, you've been kind of quiet here. What do you think about Turner?
I don't love it, but again, my guy was off the board for the equivalent of Drew Smith and Tomas Nido, but that was the guy to go get. But no, we had, and this is with Ronnie at second, and still, obviously, my world, he would have been playing second. Jeff McNeil was sent to Korea, but of the options, it's piss or crap, or this 40-year-old you're banking on, former Met, that always works. A 40-year-old and a former Met, that always works great. So, I mean, obviously, personally, I'm always going to be on Team Longo, but that's just personal bias aside. I guess, again, JT's coming off a decent year. Again, how much that's playing in Boston. But my other thing is, okay, I think AB brought this up on his show, that Boston did a great job of keeping him at the DH and keeping off the field. If Brett sucks again this year, that's going to move JT in the field most days. So that, like Frank said, raises that ability of him getting hurt. And then guess what? The supposed DH that if he's being brought in, now that opens up the DH spot again because now he has to go in the field to play third base every day. And I don't think that they're going to be going out and getting that DH because again,
he's no defensive stalwart and
that's the one thing. Again, Longo might be 50 or whatever. He still was I think he was still like an 85th percentile, I think, on Savant. But again, if run prevention is the big key, Longo can play third and it'd be a hell of a lot cheaper and hit lefty.
Well, I think this is more of a pivot than approach, but like
I know I'm just throwing it, obvious bias with Longo, but besides the point. I was going to bring this up, and maybe we could put a poll in the chat. Would you prefer Gio Urshela, and they, again, 1 year cheap deal with Urshela to be the replacement or insurance at third, and they go get the DH, pick it Jorge Soler, or it be Justin Turner or Michael A. Taylor? What would be the preference? Because I think if they're getting Turner, they're going to see it as they're going to trust Beatty to be good, and then this is your DH with an occasional start in the infield, and then they'll go get Michael A. Taylor to play left field for run prevention, where if they go cheaper with the Longo or
so you're saying basically this could be a defense in a pinch situation, what they did with Darren Ruff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Again, it's just in turn, and I get everybody having the good stories. Yada, it's he was bad. Sandy didn't like him because he drank beer in the locker room. Oh, he was too much fun. Okay, whatever. Then he obviously goes to Dodgers, go nuts, whatever. I mean, when's the last time the Mets did this? Oh, yeah, Jose Reyes. They did, let's bring Jose home. He left us. And, yeah, obviously Jose had a lot better Mets career than Justin Turner. But let's bring him back, give him a shot.
That wasn't bad when he came back.
Well.
I know he had that 1 year, he had a bunch of homers, but the year after, he was horrible.
Well,
so,
they panicked. They panicked.
Exactly.
That was second half of the season kind of thing.
So, again.
I mean, they thought Wright was going to be healthy. And then, he wasn't. And then they're just like,
Reyes
yeah, let's just sign Reyes because we have that connection there. But
so, especially how, again, it's early, but how Stearns has kind of said, oh, he wants at least one outfielder. And again, we've seen the Teo and Soler, but we haven't seen like Martino or Heyman say that. We've obviously seen Michael Moreno say it, and some of these, up in the air sources. The names we've heard from like Heymans and Rosenthal's and Morosi's are Kiermaiers and Michael A. Taylors and whom are those guys saying that? We're in our head, it makes
you mean
more
most
sense.
Of the Boris clients?
The Boris clients, of course, yes. But like we haven't seen like a definitive the Mets are in on Teo, the Mets are in on Soler, but we've heard Justin Turner and these Michael A. Taylor things. So I just don't think. Again, they're not going to do what we always been saying the last 3 fucking years. I think they're just going to go, hey, left field, the run prevention is what we're going to want, and high on base with a guy like Taylor. And then if Justin Turner's your DH, and then they're going to bank on trust Brett Beatty to have at least average MLB season, and that's what they're banking on. It's how it looks. Because we haven't seen, again, oh, they're in on Teo. Oh, they're in on, obviously they're not making any trades because, God forbid, trade a couple of your noodle prospects to get an actual proven MLB player. Oh, my God, that was unallowed. But, again, from what we've heard, they're going these smaller deals. And, again, like I said, this is a rebuilding year. I'm not expecting them to do it. So
I don't think they're rebuilding. I think
if they don't get Yamamoto, they're going to rebuild. They're not going to – if they're going to do these one-year deals that, hey – this is a 74 win ball club this year.
That's what they're doing. They're doing 1-year deals before Yamamoto goes through.
And when they don't get it, and Wardy brought this up, and obviously he said, he was bringing up, but let's say Yamamoto's a 5-win improvement, which could be possible. I'm not discrediting. I'm just saying a 5-win improvement to this team. That makes us a 79 win ball club. And yes, more shit to do, obviously. But like this team is so bad, even if they get him, they're still so far away to becoming an average team that at the point of they're going to rebuild, stay internally, and not, again, rage spend like we've said. And all the deals that they've...
If they're rebuilding, though, they'd be trading pieces away, though. They're not doing that.
There's no one to trade. Who are you trading? Pete Alonso will be the only guy. The only guy on a 1-year deal with 1 year. Everybody's locked up. They're not trading. McNeil's got a term, got a bad contract. Nimmo's locked up with term. Diaz is locked up with term.
Yeah, but Nimmo, Diaz, and Lindor are the only ones that are actually locked up. Everybody else is tradable, though. They're not doing that. We haven't seen anything. We've seen Drew Smith maybe getting but that was traded for what is it? The non-tender deadline. That's really all we've seen so far.
But still, I mean,
it doesn't look like they're rebuilding.
No, but I think if Yamamoto is the guy that may get $300 million from whoever, you don't go from offering $300 million to just giving up. I mean, I don't see. I
think on this pitching market you do, though.
Well, but not totally giving up on the whole offseason and the upcoming season. I mean, I think that too much has been invested into this team. And if, like we said, it's your last year, Pete Alonso, how are you just going to be like, okay, we're good, and we're just going to let him walk too? I don't see that happen. I don't – rebuild is a little extreme. Rebuild is full on. Let's tear it down. Let's get rid of pieces.
Rebuild it's more
retool, more conservative approach. But rebuild is let young guys
rebuild is
play
not possible. It's not possible. You have 3 guys locked down long term, 4 guys locked down long term, I guess, if you want to count Senga, but Senga has an opt out.
And he's out the next year, so he'll probably opt out. So
if he has anything close to the year he had this year,
he's gone out.
If you have Nimmo and Lindor entering their 30s right now, you have Diaz coming back on with 4 years of control, another year after that. He's into his 30s right now. You have Alonso going into free agency. Like, on what sign does it look like a rebuild year?
Then why are they so hesitant to give up prospects? That's my thing. Then why are you so? No, you can't give up the prospects.
But they're not hesitant to give anybody else up either.
They haven't done it. They've yet to do, other than what they did with Pico Armstrong. They haven't done it. They refuse to do it. On the Steve Cohen regime, he said it. Cohen does not want to give up young pieces. They've made that clear.
They don't want to give up young pieces. They don't want to give up veteran pieces. They don't want to give up controllable pieces. So
that's why you never make a big trade. I mean, after Lindor,
there's no way that if they don't sign Yamamoto, they're like, okay, now it's time to put Pete Alonso on the trade market. Now it's time to shop around Marte. Now it's time that we need to.
Outside Lindor was headlined by major league pieces going over to Cleveland. they haven't made big trades. Everything they've done has been through free agency. So that's just been Cohen's approach, is to not give up prospects. He feels that his bank account, which is true, is their strength, not their farm system and ability to develop talent. So I feel like that's been the approach all the time, because they never trade prospects. So you can look at every year as a rebuild year.
How would this be a rebuild? Like, I just don't understand how you see this as a rebuild.
Bunch of 1-year deals, and if they don't get Yamamoto, it just does. You're trusting kids. You're trusting third base is Brett's job. It's, as of now, obviously, could be different, but you're trusting your kids, and it's the 73-win ball club. It is 30, how many games they won last year? 74, 73?
What?
How many games
John
they won?
Rossi, thank you for the 199. He says that they said they won't trade for 1-year rentals.
Yes, that's very true.
So yeah, that's another thing.
Ruff,
but this is why I hate. This is why I push back, because Frank says this, and this is Frank's one of your big sayings. Mm-hmm. If you see a guy you want, I'd like to see a 1 year in New York, because you have that Cohen money. It's not a 1-year deal. You can lock him up if he has that good. That's why I'm like, if you see a guy you like, term be damned, go get him. That's my thing.
Well,
can you use that one? Go for it.
The only thing that I will counter is something that we talked about a while ago, but I think, especially what's going on right now, I consider if they fail on Yamamoto, the salary dump for Machado. I think it makes a ton of sense. I think if the Mets still want to act like they had a big offseason, they filled that third base hole. And that, because other than that, what big trade name is available? Now that Juan Soto's gone, Glasnow is gone, what trade is there to be made? What big guy on the trade market is like, oh, the Mets got to get that guy who their contract is coming up to, is coming to an end?
It's not a rental.
Hasn't been made publicly available that there's a bunch of rumors of teams negotiating with. So I think unless, or if you want to move Tatis to the outfield, you want to get real crazy. I mean, they got it. If the Padres are so worried and they're getting rid of Soto, you eventually think at some point something's got to give, and maybe it happens at the trade deadline. Maybe the Padres have a bad year and the Mets, all of a sudden, a couple of young guys stepped up or whatever. That's the only trade I could see where, again, they'd be able to make the trade without giving up big-time prospects, because, again, they're using Cohen's money to their advantage. Because what I go back to, which I still can't wrap my head around, and this is an interesting comparison, over $300 million agreed by Carlos Correa turns into no dollar spent. So, and that's the other thing you think about, is that, like, let's say the Correa thing went through. Do they get Yamamoto and offer another $300 million? I mean, those are the things that I wonder, because it's happened before where the Mets have offered $300 million and then didn't get anybody after that. And again, that have been much, much later in the offseason. But could the same thing happen with Yamamoto, where it's like, okay, this is the guy we wanted to give a bunch of money to. We don't like anyone else that much to do it for somebody else. They could do that. But again, that didn't necessarily mean that they gave up. It just meant that, okay, Eduardo Escobar is our starter, and we're going to see what we could do. But that team did have Verlander and Scherzer, so that was much more of like a win-now team, especially because Scherzer was the assistant GM. You have to talk to him before you make any moves. So that team was different, but we've still seen something like it happen.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, is that, listen, I'm seeing a lot of talk about Michael Day Taylor in the chat, but like, if the Mets actually, how do I want to put this? If the Mets actually wanted to get an upgrade at third base, it does not seem like they have any push to, they don't have any push to find a long-term solution as of right now. I think that they just want to see what they get in Brett Beatty. Maybe they bring in somebody on a 1-year deal. Maybe they, see somebody break out in spring training, such as fucking, Jose Iglesias or something. Like, if they see something like that, that's what they're looking at. And I don't know if they want to bank on the Mets. I don't know if they actually want to bank on going after anybody as a long-term solution at third base, which I'm okay doing. If they want to look at third base right now and say, this sucks, let's get something. Let's go after, let's go after a trade for a third baseman. Let's do something like that. But I feel like they would have done that already with Eugenio Suarez, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it at all.
Yeah, he
like
made,
I think that's a better, more safer option compared to a Machado contract where he's going to be paid until he's 45. You know, like.
Yeah. And that's the thing. What I would hate to see happen, this to me would be the worst case scenario, is that let's say they don't get any of the third baseman and they say, okay, it's Brett Baty's job. And the team is in the race. They're in, they're like always around trade deadline. They're right near first place. Then that's when they make a trade for a veteran third baseman. And then they actually lose a couple of, mid prospects that it's like, okay, well, if you knew you're going to need a third baseman because we didn't believe in Brett Baty. So, I mean, why hurt yourself twice, lose prospects and still get the veteran? You know what I mean? Like something, I could see something like that happen to them because we've seen it happen before where we've talked about all offseason. There was a hole, don't address it. Now trade deadline comes up. It's become a massive problem and they have to do something like that. So, that's really
Joey,
what I want.
I can tell you right now, Joey Wendell's he's a non-factor to me. So, I mean, like, again, I get it. They like the versatility. There's some speed there. It's an upgrade from Guillorme somewhat, but I'm not seeing him as a possible starting option, when you're looking at addressing this whole situation, because the problem is that I just don't get, like, the reason why they just want to plug in Brett Baty when they've seen him prove absolutely nothing. You have, possibly signing Justin Turner, who I get it. Like I know that there's a possibility that they should have done that, but I still would have traded for a third baseman. And there's just not like I still would have traded for a third baseman, but it just would have been a little bit younger and a little bit more controllable, that being Eugenio Suarez. And they didn't swing a trade for that. So I don't know if they actually think about being aggressive. If they were to miss out on somebody like Yoshi Yamamoto, if they were to miss out on him and they go straight to the bats, something at third base, if it's just Justin Turner and then something else comes into the equation like Machado, like, I don't think that they have the motivation to do that. I think that there's a reason as to why we've seen them be so passive with this, is because I think that they see unproven prospects as options, and they're not options. Jeff McNeil's an option at third. He's not an option.
He's not an option.
He is not an option at third base.
The last time he played third
actual.
Like, do we need to go back to 2019 or 2018 third base McNeil?
It's not even just like that. Any actual position that anybody thinks that Jeff McNeil can go to, he can't really play that well. But we'll have a discussion for that another time,
another day.
He's a second baseman, and that's literally it. But he's probably going to be the starting second baseman. So, Baty will probably beat out Vientos in spring. To be honest, I hope not, because I think Vientos is just a better offensive player, but they're gonna give Baty a lot of leash.
Well, field wise, yes. I mean, Baty.
Yeah, and the field. Really, actually, field wise. I mean, when we're talking about Baty versus Vientos defensively, both of them are fucking stone hands.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing.
I think Baty's got a little more range and can make a couple more plays of those routine plays that third baseman should make than Vientos.
I don't know. I think Baty should just be gone. Vientos working with Lindor in Puerto Rico. He's going to be a Gold Glover this year. Boy, I hope so, because I'd love to have that type of power in my lineup of guaranteed to third base, but I'm not going to bank on it at all. Again, it's just plugging in these prospects. If you want Vientos to be your DH of the future, sure.
Yeah,
but this is not going to be.
I like giving Vientos.
He hasn't earned it,
because let's say Vientos does become third baseman. Well, then who's your DH? And that's the same argument. McNeil, okay, McNeil's third baseman. Well, now who's your second baseman? Like, there's like, this team has so many holes that you can't just move one guy over because then something else leaks. I mean, that's what happens. You have all these patches all over the place. I mean, that's the
Marcus Semien was a Vientos type. Washington made him a Gold Glover. Well, Semien actually
I don't know what the heck. He was a shortstop, so.
He was a shortstop, yeah.
Semien
is actually a good second baseman. Jeff McNeil's not. Let's see. I know you want to stay on topic, but Yamamoto is going to be a Met soon. Listen, if you can guarantee me that, go ahead. I would love to goddamn have him, but again,
well, listen, I want the news to
know.
happen already because I'm done with the
William,
the
thank you
Cubs
so much.
want
Welcome.
him, the Red Sox want him, and the Giants want him. Like I just want it over with. It's nonstop all day, every day. Yamamoto this, Yamamoto that. Where did he eat? Where didn't he eat? Come on, let's just get it over with.
Hey.
I hope this week is the last week. Get it done before Christmas. That's all I want. Are we going to have a blue Christmas or a blue and orange Christmas? That's the main question that we got to answer.
Are we going to have a Dellin Patansis Christmas?
Shut the fuck up. I think there's one question we haven't gotten answered about this whole situation.
Oh, shut up. You got the look in your eyes, so shut up. I don't even want to hear this.
What did Cohen cook? My question.
Think the Mets
had him over at the house. What'd they make? That's the question I need answered. What kind of food?
The Mets go after Imanaga if they get Yamamoto 300. I would love for them to get both. I would love for them to get Yamamoto and Imanaga. I think that there's perfect space for both of them. And I think that Imanaga is a fantastic pitcher that a lot of people are underrating because of the whole situation with Yamamoto. But I mean, listen, I think that, what they pivot to is what they pivot to after something that goes on with Yamamoto. We're obviously waiting for that because you need to see the top hitter and the top pitcher go off the market before things continue to go. And, last year, if you flash back to it, I mean, you had the top pitcher in DeGrom go off pretty early. You had the top hitter in Aaron Judge go off pretty early. And then things went pretty smoothly. Right now, you got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who hasn't even pitched yet, but he is the top pitcher on the market. And you saw Shohei go off, who's the top hitter, but then it was also a different situation because it's really hard to really compare any freaking market with Shohei Ohtani because he's just such a rare oddity. And the problem is that, right now we're in this situation where, the top of the market is not the original top of the market. He was great in the WBC. Imanaga, yeah, he was. Imanaga's a good pitcher.
All of the Japan pitchers were great in the WBC. That's how they won the whole thing.
That's the reason why they won. Uncle Steve made Yamamoto an offer he can't refuse. Get ready.
So.
Listen, I hope that's true. Listen,
because you know what?
I hope you're right.
If Cohen wants to be at the Dodgers and Dodgers offer Shohei 700, a bunch of deferrals, can the Mets do? Not going to say 700 million, but big offer, a lot of deferrals, keep the luxury tax number low. I am curious to see if they do something like that, just to again ensure that it gets done and no one tops the offer.
I like Imanaga's stuff, but. Yeah, the thing is, he's got to ditch a few weapons that he's got, but he does have a better overall fastball than Yamamoto. Yamamoto's got more depth, but the fastball shape that Imanaga has, it's definitely top notch in the MLB. He probably said I beat your best offer plus a jet. Listen, I'm hoping that that's true, but I'm not gonna scream it from the rooftops. Yamamoto has a better hitter. No, that's not. No, he has more depth. Yamamoto has more depth. Imanaga overall has a better fastball. I'd take both of them right now.
Yeah.
And wait out Sasaki next year.
I mean, even if you got Yamamoto, who's your three? Is it Quintana? Is it Severino? I mean, that's still, it's not lovely. It's not amazing.
Yamamoto's never hit triple digits, I don't believe. I think the highest he's gotten is 98. I think that's probably the cap out that he's gotten. Imanaga's 90s. Again, velocity is not the only thing that, it's a part of it.
You could have a Syndergaard throw 100 and it's still, everyone still makes
you can have a lot of empty velocity. Yes. Yeah. I don't think Yamamoto has hit 100. I don't believe that's true.
Saki, wrong Japanese guy.
Yes,
let's bring in another big pitcher if they sign Yamamoto. If they don't get him, then they'll probably bring in a few veteran guys like Martin Perez. Is Martin Perez still available? I don't know. He's still available. He's still out. Senga has touched 100. That is true.
Yes, that's true.
he's topping on a regular day. He's topping 97, 98. Or 96, 97.
He did have a good MLB The Show card in April, so I mean, maybe he's a decent guy.
All right. What do we have next?
What else we got?
I've seen Senga hit 99. Yeah, Senga's hit it a few times, but he's regularly sitting 96, 97. Hard throwing cutter. And of course, Zell Ghost Fork.
Spooky. All right, what else we got?
I think the Mets are going to in the direction of the youth movement this year in regards to the outfield and third base. I think that they'll probably go more veteran for outfield, but third base they're probably going to give a lot of it for a lot of playing time to Brett Beatty, which I'm not excited for, but you know what? He's young. That's all I hear. He's young. 3/4. He throws 95 miles. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think he's not hit. He tops out at 99 miles an hour regularly, max effort. Yeah. Receptive slid. Yeah, exactly. He's got actual depth as compared to Imanaga, who just has a better fastball in general. I think if the Mets, they'll spend huge on Burns. Listen, Burns has the connection with Stearns. Burns and Stearns, and then you have Fried available. I think he stays in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a pitching class that you can go after in free agency next year.
I mean, Garrett Cole gonna be a free agent too. He opting out of that fucking deal. Just saying.
Ooh, you think he's opting out?
It's a Scott Boras client coming off a Cy Young. If he has a close to another Cy Young season, yeah, he's going up fucking out.
I don't know
if he leaves the Yankees.
A lot of years.
I don't think he leaves the Yankees, but he will opt out and get a renewed deal with the Yankees. He is going to get that Scherzer type money, $40 million AAV that all these other top pitchers are getting. Will he leave the Yankees? Probably not, but he's opting out to get a bigger deal with them. AAV wise, maybe not term wise, but AAV.
The Yankee. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a term in there where they can add an extra year to his entire contract, and then he can opt into that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's actually true. They have a ton of money coming off the books next offseason. They do have a ton of money coming off the books, but I don't know what they do. Of course, it's very pivotal. I don't know what they're going to be doing, but we'll see what the Mets do, because it seems like everything's just relying on what happens with Yamamoto. For those of you in here who have not already, hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not already. We have a podcast that comes out every single week. Not this week. We might have another live stream for breaking news, of course, throughout the entire offseason. We go as the Mets go. I think Burns the high possibility if they sign Yamamoto. I don't think you get Yamamoto and Burns. But if they don't sign Yamamoto, I think that Burns will probably be connected to the Mets.
Gotta love the front keyboard just slamming.
What else we got? Yeah, I'm not sure where you get the 900 million number from, though.
What the fuck? Oh,
wait. Soto and Pete?
Pete's
not mathing. Wait.
Yeah, because Pete's not getting more than 200.
Pete is not getting more than 200 million. So, and if he does, it'll be because of the Scott Boras schmoozing, but I highly doubt it. Highest you'll get from Pete is probably like 2.
Yeah, if Matt Olson got 168, Pete shouldn't be getting more than 200.
But
I don't think it's the total money, but they'll just obviously look at the AV, of course. It's like that has to do with age, but payroll drops to 170 next year. Pete probably wants Ohtani money. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, if they're just giving it to
Soto's going to cost 600. I don't think Soto gets 600 million, but I think he gets more term than actual
which could still make it equal a lot of money.
It could happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that unless the only reason why you'd say Soto 600 is because the Ohtani deal, but is anybody else in the next couple of years going to do what the Dodgers do with Ohtani?
I'll do a bunch of fucking more deferral money. Yeah, you guys, $700 million, just gonna get it. Except I wouldn't do what Ohtani did.
His contract already. deferred.
And why? Okay, maybe it's just me because I think Bonilla is the best, smartest thing. Why the fuck are you just making it 10 years of $68 million? Stretch that shit out till you're dead. Like, get like 10, 15 million every year. Like, this guy just wants $2 million while he's playing, and then when he dies, he gets his $68 million. I would have done that a lot differently, but that's, the Shark Tank in me. Sorry. Good show. Love Shark Tank.
Yeah, it's still a $46 million CBT hit, so he's not just giving.
Yeah.
But obviously, they can spend more, and the Dodgers are going to eventually spend more. They're probably going to get Hader. So, which I really don't care, to be honest. Like, if they want to build a top-heavy roster, go ahead and do it. I mean, I'm not expecting this team to compete with the Dodgers this year. So,
I thought you said the Dodgers were a top-heavy roster. I'm like, what the fuck?
Who would you want? Free agent. Free agent. I'm not putting McNeil in left field. I don't want McNeil in left field. It needs to be
think of the catch he made in Chicago, jumping.
Gilbert has not proven anything. As much as I like him, they still need to see what he's made of. A free they have to bring in somebody from free agency, and there's tons of options in the corner outfield with tons of power. They just can't ignore it at all. Dodgers still have a lot of issues, and those are not my issues, so I could give a shit.
Yeah, what's weird to me is that
leave McNeil at second. Sure, yeah.
Sure.
The only way I'm okay with putting him in.
Jock Peterson yet. This guy's made
no one's been.
We thought he was going to the Phillies. I mean, for 2 seconds.
Yeah, yet we never see him.
Nobody's really been connected to him except the Phillies and speculation, but nobody really reported it. No. It's like, I don't know. I think you're going to see like Soler and Hernandez go off the board before you see Jock go off the board. Yeah. Jock Peterson sucks ass. Okay, you're banned. How do I?
You're banned.
I'm just kidding. Respect Jock.
Respect the big cock.
Jock hits bombs. We don't hit bombs. We need bombs.
We need all the bombs.
Okay. I think we'll go for another 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll log it off for today because we're getting close to 10 o'clock here.
If Frank bet down.
You're an hour behind.
Yeah, I'm 8:30.
So, yeah.
I guess one thing we didn't cover is the Giolito thing in depth.
Yeah.
Is there really much to say? Jock can't hit lefties. He can hit lefties. Yeah, the Mets are. What is it? What is the market for Giolito right
Royals
now? It's Mets, Royals.
Yeah.
I saw White Sox with a possible reunion for him with a 1-year deal. I saw. Let's see. Was also available. I don't know. Probably the Dodgers are connected to him as well.
I think I did. Yeah, I thought Rose.
Listen, if the Mets could get Giolito back to 94, 95, he probably could be solid, but that's a big if.
And we all know the catcher who fixed him, and he hasn't been the same since he's left.
Fine in the playoff. Yeah, Jock is an incredible playoff performer as well, and he's not. Jock's pretty good against lefties. Listen,
I mean, if the
Jock
Mets
doesn't care about your batting average, so that's why
the Mets
I like
thought
him.
they could fix Luis Severino, then are they going to use that same mindset with Giolito? They're same age.
I mean, how many tickets are you going to take?
That's what I'm saying. Is that how many fixing projects are we going to do? When are we going to get guys who actually have been proven track record year after year having solid seasons? I mean, everything can't be a project, with your acquisitions. I don't see
maybe a Jock Peterson, Tommy Pham reunion, the two of them together.
Listen,
that's
all
too much
that
swag.
Tommy Pham said about the Mets, I can't bring that guy back.
Wait, you're upset. Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say about Tommy Pham? What happened?
Frank, I can't bring him back after all he wanted to do year after year, which is, not year after year, but every day you just want to talk about the Mets and how bad they are. We're still the same lazy group of folks that we were before.
But he's right.
But he's
right.
He's speaking facts though, yeah.
But he's correct though.
Yeah. So why would
you gonna hate on a guy for being correct?
But if he hates the Mets, why would he come back?
Because they pay him.
Yeah, this was last year when he was banged up as hell, but like for career, he's been really good
Jock
against
has
lefties.
never been great against lefties, but what he gives is a whole lot of power, which no one else in that outfield does against right.
I don't really care about the lefty.
You're going to be facing how much percentage of the time.
Give me the best hitters against the best pitchers. That's what I care about. I don't care about lefty. That is a myth No one gives a shit about that anymore. You can blow somebody away with exit velocity or blow somebody away with pitch velocity. You should be facing them. 0 chance the Mets sign Pham? Yeah, I don't think they do. Jock is basically Daniel Vogelbach? Absolutely not.
That's
Jeez.
tell me
let's
you don't
see.
know ball, my man. That's
Is this actually Andy?
This is actually
Nice
Martino.
picture, Andy.
Martino would 100% not say that. I can tell you that.
No, he would be like, well, sadly, the Yankees missed out.
Well,
on
it looks
Yamamoto."
like, don't get your hopes up, but it looks like Yoshinobu Yamamoto wants to sign with the Mets. He prefers the Mets. Yankees still in it. Yankees still in it.
In it. Forget about that. What else we got, Coach?
Very, very entertaining individual.
No, I wouldn't say entertaining, but it's an individual.
He's too much.
You're telling me he's not entertaining? He's pretty funny.
He's just a rat. He's just a
All
weasel.
right, so those of you in the chat, it looks like 59% of you would like a reunion with Justin Turner.
Wow, okay.
20% of you are 50-50, and 20% of you don't want to sign him.
Just bring back Wilmer Flores at this point. Fuck it.
I think the Yankees are a bigger threat to the Mets than the Dodgers are right now.
Yeah,
I
I
would-
do believe that.
Yeah.
and based on what you're
Like the
seeing,
Dodgers can come in at any point.
I mean, again, they got $700 million just lying around. They can do that again if they want it.
Martino's a Yankee fanboy. Yeah, and nobody ever catches on. Martino is a Yankee fan. He is a Yankee fan. You can see it in his tweets. It's so obvious. Hal and Cash can do no wrong. Pessimistic optimism. What's up, Rob? What's up, guys? Good news is that Andy puts a sad attempt at saving the Yankees. This is the thing. Like, yeah, he approaches the Yankees and the Mets two different ways.
Two different ways.
That's how Andy Martino is. He has sources. He's reliable most of the time, but it just comes with a very insufferable personality of a Yankee fan who Cashman and Howell can do no wrong. And we know they can.
Well, he just wrote a book about
Do
him.
the
then.
Blue Jays have $700 million lying around now?
No,
I don't know.
no. They were never like, okay,
No.
can we be honest here? This is what I hate about this shit. It'd be like, oh, Toronto's going to
Why do you hate it so much?
I hate it because
Why do you hate it?
it's the biggest load of shit you can think about. Toronto has showed every year there's the top of the market and then there's the Blue Jays market. They don't shop up there. They shop in this mid-tier. Then all of a sudden, oh, they're going to whip out $700 million or $600 million for Ohtani. Can we calm the again? All I had to see was TSN every week. Oh, the Blue Jays are the favorite. You had Toronto freaking newspaper and news anchors cutting promos like they're the Rock in 1999 being like Canada versus California. Like, you had never had a chance. It was always going to be the Dodgers. And this bullshit of, well, Toronto's in it. Well, the Cubs are in it. No, they're not. If Cohen wasn't in it, he was going to the Dodgers.
Cubs had a chance.
No, they did.
Cubs had a chance.
No one had a chance.
The Giants had a chance. The Cubs had a chance. The Red Sox had a chance. There were some guys. It wasn't just the Dodgers. It wouldn't have taken that long.
No,
It would not have taken that long. There were other teams in there.
There might have been other teams
I think
involved, sure.
There were other teams involved. There were other teams that he was considering. It wasn't just the fucking Dodgers.
No, it was been the Dodgers.
The Dodgers. No, what happened is the Dodgers offered him $700 million, and he's like, "Fuck the other teams. I'm going to the Dodgers."
Yeah.
There were other teams that he was interested in.
No, I don't believe that shit. So Dodgers won him for 2 years. He was Dodger for 2 years. Nice little competition. Then Dodgers said there's $700 million. Goodbye. I'm tired of it.
There were other teams that had a chance. You're a fucking idiot.
No. California guy. Pick the shitty one the first time. Go to the good one the real time. He was always
California guy from Japan. You know,
From
like all the
Japan.
California guys are from Japan.
Well, I mean, he was scared to go past. What was it? Chicago was his line, so he's scared to go anywhere on the East Coast of the country. So again, he was a Dodger. That was it. The fuck are you?
What about San Francisco?
I'm not gonna say what I thought. They're just all cock teases. They don't actually spend it either. They went and signed Jung Ho Lee. That's the kind of guy. They're not real. They're a myth. They don't spend money like that. Oh, he signed
There were
Correa.
other teams involved.
No, he was always going to be a Dodger. He was for about 3 years now. He's been a Dodger. We're just waiting. All right, what else we got?
Giants do have big money.
Lot of big money.
Big money. Archie
Lot of
Jones,
big money.
Michael Conforto. There's a lot of big money out in San
Well, they
Fran.
missed
Carson
out
Judge.
on Judge.
Because nobody wants
They
to
missed
go
out
there. The
on
ballpark
everyone.
sucks for hitters. The
They lost
pitching
Correa.
leagues, they lose. Nobody's going to say. No one wants to go there. I'll say it off stream what I was thinking about. I can't say it on stream, but no. No superstars want to go to San Francisco.
Didn't Buster Posey say something about like the crime in San Francisco that kind of like pointed him off?
That's battle.
I saw something about that like 2 days ago.
I don't care about small market teams.
The Giants are a small market team.
They're a small market, tiny market. They can't get anybody. Their biggest player is Michael Conforto. Trash. Well, actually, Homer Flores because he's better than Conforto, but that's about it.
Yeah,
And
Flores
JD
was never
Davis.
better than Conforto. Flores was never better than Conforto when he was a Met. Stop it.
Who's better now?
Walk-offs, definitely more clutch. That's
More clutch,
for
definitely. Flores
sure.
definitely more clutch.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Mets fans and their attachment to Wilmer Flores.
I
It
don't
just
like
will
him.
never
I
end.
don't love Homer Flores, but it's more fun to troll you. I mean, I think he's an
I was
average
begging
player.
Cohen to not offer average Judge. Judge was never going to be a Met. That was never going to happen. They weren't
would've
even
been
looking
fun,
in that
though.
direction.
It would have been fun.
The only way that Judge would have probably came here is if they put $700 million in front of him.
Which they could do. Cohen's
It
got
wasn't
that kind of
going to
money. Whip it out.
happen.
Whip the dick out and
Wasn't
say,
going
I got
to
a big
happen.
bone. Whip it out. He hasn't done that yet.
Yeah.
Whip
Yeah,
it out.
exactly. All the Mets needed was Judge last offseason.
Hey,
That's
you
all they
put
needed to
Judge.
do.
That you crying about power?
They didn't need to.
protection for
They
Alonso?
didn't need to.
You know?
They didn't need to replace DeGrom. They didn't need to replace Bassett. They didn't need to replace. They didn't need to keep Diaz. They didn't need to keep anybody.
Or Nemo.
Or Nemo.
All they needed
No.
to do was sign Aaron Judge to a
and that was
$700
good.
million contract.
Hey, he does a pretty
Yeah.
good job carrying a poverty
Nimmo
organization.
was the guy that they wanted to keep, and they kept him. That's their guy. He gave you 24 home
Don't
runs
need
this year.
Stanton and don't need Judge because
Well, you don't need Stan. I mean, yeah, he's better than Stan. Which is, great.
yeah,
That came true. Okay.
that was
Nimmo's
the
your
one thing
guy,
that
okay?
Sandy actually
And he
got.
was better than Andrew McCutcheon. Like, can we stop with this?
That's true too.
He was
Sandy
better than
actually
Jay
liked
Bruce.
power. So
Wasn't
better-
he
Sandy
get
actually
traded
liked
for
power.
Josh
Sandy
Harrison,
was
too?
ahead of his
That one,
time.
Who?
Okay.
Josh Harrison when
No, that was not. I don't think that was.
Sandy preferred bombs. Okay.
So
And
why?
y'all just went after him all the time. Sandy preferred bombs. Okay. And it got him to
think
a
about it.
World Series.
They tried to trade him for Jay Bruce, Andrew McCutcheon, and Giancarlo Stanton, and he's better than all three of them. That's great. They tried to trade that motherfucker 3 times. Well, JT Realmuto too. Which they with that rumor had.
Sandy just liked power because if he liked OBP, then you got some other situations that are pretty questionable. If he liked that, he would have traded Rosario a long time ago.
There we go. Oh God. Where the hell is he gonna sign?
And I think that Rosario was involved. Well, at least when Brody was trying to get Real Muto, Rosario was definitely one of the talking.
Yeah, what was it? Nemo, Rosario, Jimenez. Who else was in that pack?
Notice how like all the good guys that were drafted, all the good guys that were
Why
brought
not
in,
like Matt, like there was
contributed.
a picture that did like a match or someone.
Maybe Matt. Yeah.
I remember there was Harvey for Betts, right?
Oh yeah,
Like
and Jeff McNeil
2017.
and McNeil was in that trade too.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Hindsight just one.
And he would have been a
Oh
second.
yeah,
seed.
Senegal, Ian Desmond. Oh, my
Ian Desmond,
God.
that was another good one. There you go.
Whoa.
Sandy liked Pop. He was correct.
Cinder Pork. Well, the Syndergaard of the Yankees for Shella for
Well,
Andujar and whatever the hell the other guy
friggin-
named.
Thank God Wheeler didn't go to
Andujar.
the Brewers.
Revisionist.
Sandy was ahead of his time.
Shit, they would have
Overhated.
traded Zach Wheeler for Carlos Gomez. I mean, they could actually.
And Flores.
And Floyd, fuck Floyd, but Zach
Well,
Wheeler could have been.
But he ended up being he was a starter on that team though.
I mean, yes, but they
Really.
were trying to trade a future Cy Young award. Yes, he would have done that with the Mets, whatever. But if Cy Young, a future Cy Young candidate for fucking Carlos Gomez.
Well, not DeGrom for Torres, but wasn't there Syndergaard for Torres? That was a Martino special.
That was definitely a Martino.
Yeah, that was definitely. Yeah, and Syndergaard was going to go to the Padres too. I think Martino had.
Well,
Martino's
been dreaming about a Mets Yankees trade, and then he got Castro for Joely.
Exactly. Oh God, fucking yo.
All right,
relax.
We'll wrap things up here, I think. For those of you in here who have not hit the like button, make sure to do that. Hit the subscribe button. Content that goes throughout the week. We do live streams for breaking news.
Everyone should be like Jedi
we go live here.
Give us your financial currencies, whatever kind of currency.
Okay, Frank, you little mongery.
Be like Jedi, man.
What the
fuck? Relax. I'll give you guys your final words. I guess the parting words live. Andrew, go ahead. What do you got?
Just fucking do something. I'm bored. I mean, preferably do it on a Tuesday. I'm off. But I'm just fucking do something. Just tired of this shit. Whip out the money bags and get this shit done. Stop with the dinners. $450 million and let's fucking get this thing done with. Enough.
Frank?
Yeah, all I want for Christmas is Yoshi Yamamoto to sign with the Mets. I mean, let's make it happen. This way we'll all be happy. And again, we could actually get the offseason going and see the Mets work on these other areas that need to be addressed. So Yamamoto needs to come off the board, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this has been a slow off season for all 30 teams, I'd say. You've seen a few big fish go off, but Yamamoto's the next one, and whether it is with the Mets, whether it's not, we'll see what happens. And it looks like that's going to be the direction that they do go in. We'll see what happens with Justin Turner news like that. We'll see what else they do in the rotation because they have other things to do. Maybe they do bring in a bullpen arm or two. We'll see what the Mets do and what direction that they go in because it is going to be very interesting because we haven't heard much. But other than that, guys, we will see you guys next time. Once again, thumbs up. If you have not already, hit the like button, subscribe. All of our individual links are in the description. All that, those Haskling will be live for other breaking news as well. We'll talk about it. And then we'll also have the podcast next week. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go Mets. For those of you who tuned in, thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next time.